Right, so let's get into our audiences. The first thing that we're going to need to know is where to find audiences. So we're going to come through to audiences here if you're looking at this version of Business Manager. Alternatively, if it's not there, click through onto your chessboard and come through to Advertise. Under Advertise is Audiences. And if this is the first time you've come through to audiences, this is what you're going to see. And it's going to give you a little bit of a breakdown on what each of these audiences is. So we already know that our custom audiences are people who've already shown interest in your business. The lookalike audience is going to be an audience based on similarities to your custom audience. And your saved audience is going to be people that you feel you need to target. So let's go through and create our first audience. I usually start with our custom audiences because they are the easiest to create. When we click on that, it's going to give us the list of things that make up our custom audience. So we're going to start with our Facebook page. It's going to ask us who we want. So add people to your audience, include people who meet any of the following criteria. Let's try that one again. People who meet any of the following criteria. So you need to select your page. Then anyone who is engaged with your page. So this is basically saying that we want to target anyone who has anything to do with our page for the last 365 days. So we have other options. So anyone who's visited your page, people who have engaged with a post or an ad, people who've clicked on any call to action button, people who've sent you a message, or people who've saved your page or any of the posts. So you may want to create an audience very specific to an action, and we have the ability to do that. Now, anyone who's engaged with a page, that would cover pretty much anything here. So that includes people who visited your page and sent you a message, saved a post. It also includes anyone who's watched a video or more than 3 seconds of a video from your page. This is the one that's going to cover most things, which is why it is the one that is the go-to generally. Now you have the ability to choose how far in the past you want to target people. There's a lot of talk on how far back you want to go. Now, if someone engaged with your page 365 days ago and they haven't engaged since, the chances that they are actually interested in your page or your product is pretty slim. Either you haven't been doing anything on your page and therefore they've fallen out of the, off the radar, or they're just not interested. So do you want to go back as far as 365 days? That really is dependent on how you're going to be using this audience in the future. Generally, I try and keep this audience to about 180 days because I feel that any longer than that really is scraping the barrel on trying to get an audience involved. Make sure that when we name your audience, that you name it exactly what it is. So this is Nothing But Hamsters. This is Facebook engagement 180 days. And we're going to create that audience. What we can then do is go and create more audiences. So we're going to, if it does jump to that next step, just go to back and it'll bring you back to here. So we're going to create our next audience. So we're going to go and have a look at our Instagram profile. So we're going to go through and it's going to ask us which Instagram profile we want to link to. And it's going to be the same thing. So anyone who's engaged with your business for the last 180 days. Oh, that didn't work. And of course, go and name it. So, hamsters. Now, it may ask you if you want to create a lookalike audience straight from here. And ordinarily, I would tell you that's a great idea. But because I'm working through how to create these audiences with you, I'm not going to do this step now. And I can show you how, if you do decide to come back and do a custom audience, a lookalike audience, where to find it. So I'm just going to say done. And we're going to create our next set of audience. An instant experience is a type of ad that you can create, and it basically is a full screen sort of mini website that you can load directly into Facebook. You can retarget people who have looked at your instant experience. If you have been running ads with lead forms, you're able to retarget those people. If people have watched videos, if you have videos that you specifically want to retarget, so if you have a new brand that's coming out or a new product and you're running those ads and you're looking for to retarget people who have watched those videos specifically, you're able to create this here. But what I'm going to do is go and have a look at our website, because that is obviously the next most obvious one to target. So let's go and have a look at our website. And of course, add people to your audience, include people who meet any of the following criteria. Now, this is really important. You need to ensure that you are creating an audience with the correct pixel. Now, this is giving me a warning that this pixel is not active, and that is actually because that is not the pixel that I have installed on my website. This is the pixel that I created when I was showing you how to create a pixel through an ad account. The one that is actually on my website is this one down here. So make sure that you are choosing the correct pixel. Otherwise, there's going to be no audience or the wrong audience that you're going to be retargeting. All website visitors, people who visited specific pages. So like our business, we have management, we have training, and we have hot desk. I can create an audience specific to which page people visited, or I can only target people who have spent a lot of time on my website. So have I been running ads that people are clicking onto and falling off, or do I really want to talk to the people who have spent some time scrolling through things, watching some videos, really learning? I'm able to target them through there. I'm also able to have a look at these events. So at the moment, I've only got a page view events, but you remember we set up our custom conversions. We also set up add to cart, purchase, lead. All of those custom conversions that we would have created would also show up here if this was connected to this pixel. A lot of choices that you have here. For this example, I'm just going to use all website visitors in the past 30 days. Now we can go up to 180 days here. Any more than 180 days, and it's actually not going to let us track further than there. And I actually think that's a good thing, because when we start tracking more than 180 days, as I said before, if someone hasn't come back to your website or had any engagement with you in the past 6 months, they're clearly not interested. We don't want them as part of our audience. So it's limiting us to 180 days, and we're going to name that audience. I'm going to show you quickly how you would add a specific URL. So remember, we need to choose the correct pixel. We don't want all website visitors. We want people who've visited specific pages in the last X amount of time. And this is very much the same as we did with our custom conversions. So it is either a URL, so the URL contains this or doesn't contain this or is equal to that. So if we're saying it's equal to that, it's saying that anyone who has gone to that specific URL needs to be targeted or in this audience. We can also say that if the URL contains the word training. So basically what I've said in there is any URL that I have that has the word training in it will be targeted and linked to this account or to this audience. So really important to understand this and then have our number of days that we want to target them. And again, make sure you name this audience correctly. I don't need this audience, so I'm not going to save it. But while we're here, I want to have a look at the next type of audience. We have a customer list. This customer list is going to be exactly the same as the way that we uploaded our offline events. we need to make sure that we have as many markers as possible. And what I mean by marker are things like email addresses, phone numbers, their first name, surname, make sure those are separate. Any extra information that you have, like their date of birth, year of birth, gender, country, anything like that is going to help us make sure that this is a very robust audience. Now, like the offline events, we can download a template, and I do suggest doing that. It just gives you a bit of an idea of what your customer list should look like. But as long as it's a CSV file and as long as it is well laid out, you shouldn't have a problem. You can also import from MailChimp. I'm not going to go through how to download it from a CSV file because you can go and have a look at the loading up an offline event to see how to do that. I'm going to go through import from MailChimp. So it's very, very easy. You just click on there, you log into your MailChimp account. Once you have your login all sorted, it will actually just connect to here and start the upload.